Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mr. Arsenal podcast. I guess Richard is on his way. He'll be here soon to discuss the main topic today, which is going to be obviously the breaking news from yesterday, which is Arsenal are looking to bring fans back into the Emirates as of the 4th or whatever it is of October for our home game against Sheffield United. There's a lot of there's been a mixed bag response to this from the Arsenal fans on social media, from what I've seen anyway, because how they've gone about it basically. Basically, they said obviously the West Ham game they can't. There's no way they can bring anyone in to the Emirates for that game, but obviously our second home game being Sheffield United at home will be the game they're looking to bring people in. But I haven't said out of the 60,000 capacity we have how much of a cut down that is from there. And as we speak, here comes Richard. How you doing, Richard?
Yeah, very well, thanks, mate. Good, yourself?
Yeah, really good. Getting there now. I'm just over a week away now for the Premier League, so getting there.
Yeah, getting excited, isn't it? You know, with a few transfers happening as well. So it's quite a good time at the minute to be an Arsenal fan for a change, isn't it? It's been a struggle for a few years, and suddenly it's become exciting again.
Exciting and positive from the Arsenal perspective, which is, again, as I've been saying all week, it's weird for an Arsenal fan to be so positive.
Yeah, no, it is. But it's good, but let's hope that it's not. We've got reason to be positive, because what we don't want is, to start the season maybe poorly and then suddenly it'll all be negative again, won't it, quite quickly? So let's hope that's not the case, because it is nice to feel positive, actually. I can't remember the last time going into the new season I felt this positive, actually, about our chances of how well we might do. Usually you're thinking, well, the last few years it's been, what we're going to achieve this season, probably not much. Whereas this season I actually feel reasonably confident that we can have a good season. So let's hope that lasts as long as possible and that optimism stays, really, because it's a good feeling and it makes a change.
Oh, definitely. And as I don't know if you've heard, but there's any minute, second of the next 24 hours, Ceballos' return could be confirmed.
Yeah,
so again, another positive.
It is, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if maybe I feel that there's maybe a little bit over the top reaction to him, actually. I mean, yes, he had a good spell at the end of the season. He's a good player. It's good that we've got him for another season, but let's not hope that that's all we're going to get in midfield, because we need more, don't we? Let's be honest. It's good that we've got him again. He's got a good part to play, I'm sure, this season as he did last year, but we need more in midfield, don't we? That's the one area now that the only real, I wouldn't say concern so much, but that's the only one area that I think if we can strengthen there, then we've got a real chance of doing some great things this season, as opposed to having a good season. We could have a great season if we can sort the midfield out, get a couple more people in there, really, certainly in terms of depth as well as quality. But it's good that Ceballos is signing again. It's good that we're getting that done, because he looked like he enjoyed playing for Arsenal, didn't he, as well, which is always good. He seemed to get the club, doesn't he, which is good. And but yeah, I'm pleased he's signing. But I'll say, if he's the only midfield signing that we make, then I don't think that's quite enough, is it? Unfortunately. Yeah. But anyway, we want to stay optimistic. So.
Exactly. And we are still being heavily linked with the guy from Lyon, Oyer, however you pronounce it, and Partey.
I've got a feeling, actually, that Oyer one, whatever his name is, I think that one's, I'm getting good positive feelings about it. I think that one might be the one that we do. Maybe ahead of Thomas Partey, possibly. Yeah. I think the Partey one might end up having to be some sort of swap or some sort of deal that way, as opposed to paying the money out. But I think we might go all out to get that Ayor guy, hopefully, because I think he would be. He looks a good signing for us from what I've seen of him. He does look an exciting player, and give us that little bit extra in midfield, I think, that we maybe have lacked over the last couple of years. So goals and stuff like that, and bit of quality as well. Him and Willian, would be a good. That would be a good sign, really, if we can get them to. Yeah, Partey as well would be fantastic. That's the dream, isn't it? Getting both of them. Whether we can do that or not, though, with the financial restrictions that we've clearly got, and obviously what this show was originally going to be about, the tickets and stuff like that. That information yesterday, the club was saying how much money they're basically losing on season ticket sales, which you can understand why. are we going to be, as a result of that, in a position to really buy somebody like Thomas Partey for, 50 million pounds, whatever it is, they want from 45 million, whatever it is? Are we going to be able to do that? Maybe not. That's what we need to kind of think of, isn't it?
Unless we can meet it, but in a sense of Atletico, we have to do it in an instalment basis sort of thing. And that's where Atletico have to beat us halfway in the circumstances. In normal circumstances, it won't be an issue, but obviously with everything that's going on,
exactly.
And the Premier League haven't helped us today with obviously they're cancelling their contract with the Asian side of things, the Asian network. They're basically 24 months early, they've cancelled their contract, so all broadcasting in Asia for the Premier League is no more.
Yeah, but you see,
a knock-on effect not just us, but other Premier League clubs.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, Sky seem to be in a lot of trouble, don't they? The amount of money-saving things that they're doing lately, people that they're making redundant and losing people's jobs and all this, that, and the other. So Sky obviously are struggling, which I personally don't have a lot of sympathy for them. But like you said, that money that they provide is vital, isn't it? It is vital for clubs, not only us, like you said, a lot of other clubs as well. And, especially the Asian market as well. It's a massive market, isn't it, for the Premier League? And that's going to be it could become a big serious problem going forward, really. But someone else needs to step in and take it on, don't they? That's what's going to have to happen, and it probably will. Maybe Amazon Prime, they seem to be getting a bit of a reputation in football and sport now, don't they? They've got the US Open tennis on. Maybe they might step in and take over some of the Sky stuff, which could be good. Anything that gets rid of Sky is a positive, as long as something replaces it, and the market isn't lost, which I'm sure it won't. Exactly. I'm sure it won't be. I think they're more worried about people doing illegal streams and stuff like that, aren't they? I think that's well, they're trying to protect themselves against that, because that's going to cost them even more money that they've lost already, probably. I think that might be connected into it all, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm sure someone will take that on anyway. I say Amazon Prime could be the one.
Amazon Prime, or even the Premier League and Amazon come together, take out obviously BT and Sky, and come together and have a streaming service where all your clubs in the Premier League can watch their team live.
I've never understood.
No matter what the kickoff time is.
Yeah, I've never understood why they've not done that. Every club should have their own paid-for channel. You can pay for to subscribe to. You can watch all your team's games, because that's what people want, don't they? I mean, I'm sure most Arsenal fans, realistically, would not want to watch, say, I don't know, Fulham against Brighton. They'd rather watch the Arsenal game that week, wouldn't they? Yeah. And I don't know why they've not done that. I think there's a market for every single club would want to watch their own team, fans of their own club. And yes, obviously people are interested in other games as well. And maybe what they need to do is have, I don't know, a couple of games maybe a week on for everybody, in terms of, have it like they do now on, say, Sky or whatever it might be, or BT or whoever it might be on, and have one or two games every week, maybe one on I think the Sunday 4:00 game's a good time to have a live game on a Sunday. Maybe keep that one, and then every other game for every other team is shown live, and you can pay to watch it if you want, or not if you don't, and simple as that.
Do like a monthly or monthly subscription, or
you could do
like a season ticket sort of thing, like £45 or something for the season.
Maybe offer that as well, but also you can pay per game if you want, because some people are going to be at certain games. You don't want to pay for a game on TV when you're at the game yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe have an option where you can pay individual games as well, or if for the foreign market as well, people that can't get to the games, then they let them buy a season ticket and get all the games free. Well, not free, but get all the games available to watch.
That makes
perfect sense. I never knew why they haven't done that a long time ago, because there's cameras at every single game. They've got the capability of showing them all, because they show them all around the world. Why don't they just do that? It just seems the next logical step, especially obviously with the current situation with fans not even being allowed in the ground. And even when there's restricted numbers, it's going to be just the same. There's still going to be lots and lots of people that can't get to the ground to see the games. They've got to have an option to be able to watch them, haven't you? You've got to.
Yeah, definitely. And just we'll go back on to what obviously the news thing we'll come on to for today. It's obviously yesterday's news. You touched it on your channel yesterday.
Yeah.
Basically, as of this, I think it's our second home game. It was meant to be what is our second home game of the season. Sheffield United at home. Arsenal are looking and talking to the government and all that, as in to have that as our first game where fans can start coming back, but haven't been told how many they can bring in, so they haven't released them details yet. But they've said, this is how we're going to do it, and it's season ticket holders, like gold and platinum members first, And then anyone that's interested, put your name forward as of a certain date, and it's also they don't have to pay for the entire season ticket up front. It's like in installments as and when sort of thing. And obviously, as and when the season goes on, if possible, to get more fans in, other memberships will become available. But again, it's all going to be a ballot. It seems this season will be a game by game ballot system for the fans, basically. And when that does happen, I think that'd be a fair way to. That's a fair way to do things anyway. But when it gets all the memberships as well, like the red members, purple, this, that, and the other, that's also another fair way to do it, because you haven't got everyone clamouring online and this, that, and the other. It's literally you put your name in a hat, it gets picked out.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think the club have tried, haven't they, to do the best that they can do in the
circumstances. Yeah.
What else can they do, really? They can only have at the best is going to be a very, very reduced capacity, isn't it? I mean, they haven't said what numbers we're looking at, but it's going to be very vastly reduced capacities to begin with, certainly. So the club have tried to do the best way they can do it. I don't see where else they can do it when we've got more season ticket holders than there's going to be available seats in the ballot, isn't there? So there's no other option really other than to do a ballot. At least this way, fans have got the season ticket holders have got three options, haven't they? They can either pay for their season ticket as normal, they can either refer it till we can get full crowding again, or they can refer it to next season. Yeah. So the options there are, you can pay and go into the ballot scheme to go to the games in the meantime, or get the possibility of getting a ticket to the games in the meantime. So there is, at least Arsenal have tried, and I think they've tried to do the best that they can. It's not ideal, of course it's not, but nothing's going to be ideal, is it? In this situation, it isn't, unfortunately. Until everybody can come back in the grounds like before, nothing's going to be ideal. So I think they've tried the best that they can do in the circumstances, and let's just see how it works, really. I think there's going to be a lot of season ticket holders going to be upset and unhappy that they don't get tickets for certain games that they go to, that they've got to move a different seat, maybe a different part of the ground as well. Another, that's a downside to it, obviously. But I guess it's better than having no fans in at all, isn't it? That's maybe the way to look at it. I don't know.
Exactly, and as you touched on, there has been a sort of a mixed reaction from that news. Obviously, not just with the season ticket holders themselves, but other memberships as well. Like, why can't they be included in the initial thing? But I get what I can get.
There's not enough. There's not enough seats available. That's the problem.
No, there's
that's the biggest issue, isn't it? There's not
literally every fan in the world, every Arsenal fan in England or in the world can literally enter this. Basically, if you've got a membership, and it'd be a free, and then literally
it would
be a free fall in terms of ballot wise. It'll be
season ticket holders have got to be given priority, haven't they? They've got to have a priority on that. So you've got to do it that way. Unfortunately, when you buy a red membership or whatever, or a silver membership, whatever it is, you're not buying that to guarantee your tickets either, are you? Really, you're not. That's not what you're buying it for. You buy it for lots of different reasons. And unfortunately, in this circumstance, season ticket holders have got to have priority over that. They've got to.
Because obviously, season ticket holders themselves, even in that, if it's an instalment thing or whatever, are paying a lot for that privilege of.
Yeah.
But again, as you said as well, Arsenal had to say in the club statement that they can't guarantee you'll be in your normal seat and things like that with your individual group of friends. This and the other. That's just to make sure there's no backlash there. And
but at least as well, the club have made that quite clear. Now, season ticket holders can now make a choice. They can either say, "I don't want to go to games like that," which is fine. Don't pay the money up front. Don't enter the ballot. That's fine. Okay, it's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. So I'll do it. I'll pay the money. I'll go in the ballot and hopefully get a couple of tickets for a couple of games here and there. And then I think that's probably. I don't see what else they could have done. Really, realistically, you couldn't have had just a free-for-all draw, because that wouldn't have been fair, would it?
No.
Either way, it's not fair on certain people anyway. People are going to miss out, and that's the way it is. But I don't know what else they could have done, really. Honestly, I don't. And it's at least Arsenal trying to do the right thing. I think they're trying to do the right thing. And it's going to upset some people, obviously, and other people are going to be happy about it. And it's just natural, isn't it, really, I suppose. But personally, for me, I think they've tried to do the right thing. And I don't really know what other options they've got, really, how they've done it, thinking about it.
Yeah, from day one, they've been trying, this whole lockdown situation, they've been trying to do the right thing. As in back in the last season, because they had to give money back anyway because of they didn't fill the quota of home games because they got knocked out the Europa League early.
Yeah.
And so they had that, and then to add to that, all this happened, and so they've had to
Yeah,
reimbursed.
we had 5 home games, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were behind closed doors in the end.
Yeah.
So there's obviously it was refunds on that, wasn't there?
Refunds on that, credit or what. And it was good. They had the option of either having the money back into their account or put as in as credit going forward for this season or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Which basically is, I think for a lot of them, it's the same amount of refund that they got is what they need to put down to go into the ballot for this. So, you could turn around and say, well, it's almost free money, I suppose. It's not, because you've lost out on them 5 games and you're probably not going to get tickets to 5 games in the ballot, are you? You're probably not going to come out 5 times when you might, but you're probably not going to, are you? You might get 1 or 2 if you're lucky.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you get 5 out of 5, you're fucking lucky.
Well, yeah, you've done well.
Yeah.
Exactly, but that's what ballots are, aren't they? It's like cup final tickets, isn't it? They go to a ballot sometimes, and you get lucky or don't, and that's unfortunately the way it is. I mean, I don't see what more really the club could have done. I think they thought about it from all angles. They realised that there's going to be some people who are going to be upset and disappointed, but what else can they do? When you can only have, I mean, I doubt we won't be allowed 20,000 in the ground. I think
about 15,000, 20,000 or so.
I don't think it'd be that many. I think it'd be maybe 10,000. You've got to think of not only the seats in the ground and the spacing out, but also people arriving at the ground, the concourse areas, all that kind of stuff as well. So, and the travel there as well. So I'll be surprised if it's even 10,000. That'll probably be the maximum I think they'll be allowed to have in. So, we've got, 4 or 5 times more of that season to go, haven't we? So that's always, people are going to unfortunately miss out on games, aren't they? But as long as they're compensated in money ways, people aren't losing out necessarily too much money as a result of it. I suppose, we haven't been out of games for a long time now anyway, have we? So if it means you miss a few more, it's not going to probably be in the overall scheme of things the end of the world, is it? I suppose. I mean, everyone wants to go out of games. Of course we do.
Seems like forever since we last went to the game.
It does feel like forever. And the last game I went to was a 0-0 draw as well. So it seems like ages I've even seen a goal. Never mind.
Oh dear. I mean, the Arsenal Misfit is asking how much is a season. I think it varies, doesn't it, depending on where you want to be as well.
Yeah, whereabouts in the ground they are, really. It is.
You have upper tier, lower tier, and you have also the option of the inner circle, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the average price is about 1,200 quid, isn't it? I think something like that.
Around about that, yeah.
Yes, you can get some cheaper ones, and there's obviously a lot more expensive ones as well, in like club level and all that other stuff. Yeah. So, but I think on average it's about 1,100-1,200 quid, isn't it? Something like that for a season, which people say is a lot of money. Well, it is, but it's London, isn't it? Everything's expensive
as well.
So you're not going to expect it to be much else. Plus, as well, you can't moan about the price of tickets when you're moaning that we're not buying players, because the two are kind of, they are kind of related in a sense. I know there's more to it than just that. It's not just ticket money and ticket prices.
Staff as well,
there's sponsorship and all kinds of other stuff, and TV money and prize money and European money and all that kind of stuff as well. But that's a part of it, isn't it? We could reduce all our prices for tickets, make them £5 a ticket, but are we then going to be able to compete financially? Probably not, even less than we can already. which isn't enough. Some people seem to think, but there you go.
Well, no, also I think you mentioned it on your channel. There's that obviously they said they can't guarantee any away games as well because of travel at the moment. They're not. So as it stands,
I think it's that, is it? I think it's also as well. I mean, every single away ground that I've been to, I can't think of any other one off the top of my head. The concourse areas are very narrow and small for the number of fans, so you wouldn't be able to have a full away allocation. Most allocations are about 2,500 anyway. So you're looking at 500 away fans. You could probably have not. You probably wouldn't be able to get that many in. And it's like, what's the point really? And who's going to get them tickets? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I think at the moment it's going to be difficult for away fans to be able to organise it, just because I don't feel as though away fans are very well treated in grounds anyway, in terms of the stands that we get, the area of the ground that we're in, the tight concourse areas, the toilet facilities, all them kind of things for away fans is poor. When you look at some of the stadiums and you look at how much you're paying for, there's a £30 limit on tickets, I suppose now. But what you're paying, and what the grounds are like as well. I mean, some of the grounds. I mean, take Liverpool for example. Their stadium, the redevelopment they've done is fantastic, but the away end is terrible. It's one of the worst away ends in the Premier League. It's the fact it's a disgrace. You've got restricted view. seats, haven't they, in the away end at Liverpool? I know they're looking at redeveloping that in, or they were, whether they still do or not. But I mean, that's just an example of how away fans are treated compared to everybody else in the stadium. And I can't see how they're going to be in a situation to allow away fans in at this moment in time. Certainly for the foreseeable future. In fact, I'll be surprised if away fans can go all season, which would be a shame, because there's nothing like a good away day, is there? There's nothing beats a good away.
Exactly. And also, touching on away grounds, I think the worst one for me is Newcastle, because you're up in the heavens. You're literally up in the heavens.
At least in Newcastle, to be fair, it is miles away from the pitch, but at least you've got the sort of concourse and bar areas. You've got a lot more room there than at some of the other grounds. Actually, that's probably one of the easier ones. They could reduce the capacity there, maybe give you more of the stand, so you could spread out more. You could probably get away with it at Newcastle. It's probably one of the only away grounds I can think of that you could get away with it, even though the view is terrible because you're literally like 500 miles up in the sky.
Well, yeah, and I think what Man United, I don't like Man United either because of how it's situated.
No.
It's just horrible.
Yeah, in the corner. Plus, well, what Man United have done, what they did was, it seems to me from being there a lot of times, is that they just bolted in as many seats they can squeeze in. They're not even big enough for people to sit on. If everyone sat down at Man United away end, there'd be too many people you wouldn't be able to sit on the seats because you'd literally be on top of each other. It's just why nobody really sits down, because they've just bolted all these seats on. It's like you didn't give it that any thought, did you? And look at how they've, again, with Man United, look how they've redeveloped the rest of the stand, the Stretford end, the Alex Ferguson stand, all that kind of stuff. You know, I've never been in any of them, but they look great. And I'm sure the facilities there and the areas there are much better than the away fans seem to get the worst possible place in the ground pretty much everywhere, don't they?
Of course.
And unfortunately, that's always been the case. I mean, it's no different now probably to what it ever was. You know, going back in the day, the away fans always had terrible facilities, if any at all. So, you know, I remember Newcastle back in the day, actually, when you was out in the wet terrace with no roof, and, you know, the facilities there were terrible back in the 1980s and stuff. I remember going there a few times. It was awful. So it's definitely a lot better now. But even so, it's still the worst part of the ground that they give away fans to, isn't it? So I don't know what Arsenal's away ends like, actually, at the Emirates. I've never been in the away end at the Emirates.
No,
so I don't know what the facility like. I'm assuming they'll be a lot better.
Yeah, I'd assume that as well. And plus it's near the pitch as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the view from the opposite end of the clock end, if you like, the other corner, I've been in there a few times, and the view there is really good. So I'm guessing the view is going to be good from the away end. It's just I don't know what the facilities are like. I'm guessing they'll be pretty similar to what they are in the clock end anyway, I'm assuming. So, you know, but we just got that bit of class that other clubs don't have. That's why.
I don't like Palace either, but again, restricted views as well. Depending if you're set back as well.
Palace, but then the rest of their ground's the same though. Their whole ground's terrible. So you can't really crumble the away in there because the rest of it's falling to bits. but yeah, Chelsea's bad as well, isn't it? Chelsea's away in. That's not really nice.
I mean, they went through a stage where they couldn't make their mind up with the away fans. At one point, they had us over in the far corner.
Matthew Harding stand they used to be,
Harding stand, yeah. And then they moved us over to the other side of the thing. Yeah. And then Ringo came in and moved us to the shed end.
I think I've been in almost every single stand at Chelsea's ground where they've moved away fans.
We're away fans.
Yeah, just as the away end, it's just moved all over the place. But where it is now, I suppose it's nice being behind the goal a little bit, but it's not very great away end, is it really? It's one of the worst ones and all. But anyway.
It is what it is, but I think, as you said, I can't see anyone, any away fan from any club being able to go to an away game this season. I think at the earliest it'll be like the third of the way through next season if you're lucky. And again, that's only if the vaccine becomes available to the public. I
mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, a lot of the whole situation could change quite quickly, I suppose. Once, I mean. When you think about it now, really, a lot of things are open now that wasn't open a couple of months ago. In a couple of months' time, it potentially looks like it could be worse going into winter and stuff. And what the response is going to be to all of that, we don't know yet. But I'd be amazed if away fans are in this season, and I'd be amazed if we've got full capacity stadiums this season as well. I think that would be optimistic, really.
Very optimistic. Yeah,
we might have to just put up with this restricted capacity throughout this whole season, which would be an improvement on the way it finished last season, but it's not what we want, is it? It's not ideal. We all want to be able to go to games like before, and
exactly.
And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to probably for a while yet. But I mean, at least it's going to be some fans in the Emirates, hopefully for that Sheffield United game. on the 3rd of October, I think it is, isn't it? Let's hope that happens, because it will be good to have. I mean, I watched a little bit of the highlights of that Brighton game against Chelsea at the weekend when they had some fans. It looked a little bit strange. 2 of the stands were shut completely, weren't they? So, but I guess it's better than it being completely empty. So you would probably just have to get used to it and make do with what we can. I mean, that's all we can hope for, isn't it? Really, I suppose. Yeah. But at least it's a step in the right direction. That's the way to look at it, isn't it? Because we've had no fans at all. Now we might be able to get some, and hopefully in a few months' time we might be able to get more, and eventually get back to where we were, which would be, that's the ideal scenario. But I just think it might take a lot of time. That's all.
Yeah, and it's just hopeful in the meantime. Maybe, I know if obviously doing the Arsenal doing what they're doing with it and a season ticket, but maybe as an alternative to appease the other memberships, do every home game and all that, stream it off the website. And
maybe. Or
something.
maybe offer maybe the Carabao Cup or something to the Red members and stuff like that.
Things like that. But little trinkets like that.
Group games or something. I don't know. Maybe look at something like that instead. I don't know. But again, then you're going to get season ticket holders moaning that they can't get tickets for those games that they would normally get. So I don't know. It's difficult and it's tough. Whatever they do, they're going to upset somebody.
If they were to do what I've suggested there, like do a streaming thing for members only, you'll find other Arsenal fans that are not members then sign up. And they'll sign up as an Arsenal, even a red member. That's a bit more money in the club, in the circumstances we're in, and you're getting more views as well.
Yeah. I reckon a lot of people would buy a red membership if you had a chance of getting some tickets.
Yeah,
for a game,
or even just watching it on the Arsenal website in the circumstances that we're in at the moment. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what they need to look at. Perhaps giving a little bit more to red members as an incentive to get them to do it. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. It's like we were saying, there's a niche, there's a market there for all the clubs to do things like this, especially in this moment in time. Yeah, but it'd be perfect. It's a perfect thing to try it all out and see how things are.
I mean,
we've got people working at the club do commentating anyway for the highlights. So
I mean, I did hear today, and I don't know how true it is, that apparently there's discussions going on. I don't know if it's this week, to try to get all the games covered live again on TV like they were before. And there's talks going on to try to do that over the next sort of few days. So let's see what happens with that. Yeah, they're going to have to do it, aren't they?
They have to, because, as you said, we're not going to get many fans even in our stadium. We're a 60,000 capacity stadium. Man United is the second biggest. I mean, the biggest in the country, in 75,000 or something odd thousand capacity there. So they're going to have issues there. And the UEFA themselves have said we are going to wipe for the season and all domestic leagues that they cut in Europe. All this 3 o'clock shout out thing that they usually have, that's gone for this season. So it's now down to the respective domestic league countries, the broadcasters, to do the right thing. I think the backlash that Sky and BT have faced since obviously releasing the initial fixtures for their TV channels, I think they're going to have to bend the knee, because it's like I said in last week when we were talking about the TV fixtures and all that. It's unless you support a big team like your Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, United, City, or Tottenham, etc. If your team's mid-table or in the bottom half, or because you're the lesser team, you ain't watching. You're not going to be able to watch your team live for the first start of the season, as it stands.
Well, not very often. I mean, obviously, our game against Fulham's on, so Fulham fans get to see that one, I suppose. And you're going to get the odd one where the newly promoted teams like Leeds against Liverpool. That's been selected as well, hasn't it? But it's going to be a lot of fans. Brighton, for example, I don't think they've got any games live planned, have they? Maybe one out of their first maybe 4 or 5 games. So I mean, they've got to do something about it, and hopefully, if these discussions are productive, then I think they have to do it. And even if there's reduced capacities, even if you're getting 2,000 or 3,000, 5,000 fans in the stadium allowed, you're still going to have to put the games on TV. You're going to have to.
Everyone else, yeah.
Because what's going to happen is people are just going to stream them from foreign countries anyway, foreign streams anyway. They might as well show them, because otherwise people watch them anyway. So
Exactly.
Crazy not to do it.
Well, even then, there's an in this moment in time, as we've touched on with Arsenal, as an Arsenal fan perspective, Arsenal should do with streaming service, like a streaming service sort of thing. But as you said about Sky and BT coming together, and covering all the games. I think they should do it for the whole season, because I don't think as we've touched on, fans aren't going to be able to every stadium will not be able to fill their stadium for at least this season coming, at least. That's assuming there's no other spikes, as they say.
That's going to be the problem, isn't it? Because if there's spikes in certain areas, say like Manchester and Leicester, they're not going to allow any fans in the ground for that particular time, 2 or 3 weeks or a month, however long that local lockdown's on for, and that's going to happen all around the country. So it's going to be impossible, isn't it? Because you can't have all fans in for one game and the next game, we can't have any fans in this next game now, because it's just not going to work, is it? Unfortunately, we're going to have to suffer the fact that we're going to have reduced attendances probably all through this season.
And I think, again, as I said about the Arsenal doing but with Sky and BT themselves, they do agree and bend the knee and actually not double down and do what they're doing at the moment. Actually cover all these games of the season for all the clubs. BBC maybe help out here and there. Offer. I mean, Sky and BT, they're doing most of the games. Offer a season ticket scheme for fans that aren't going to be able to go to the games. So whatever set a price in that, and that covers Premier League games for the whole season. And they still have to obviously have to like Champions League and have to have the normal subscription. But Premier League games, you want to watch your team? Here's the season. To
be honest, right. If it was Arsenal's coverage with Arsenal's commentators and Arsenal's co-commentators that they have for the when they show the stuff on the Arsenal video channel, it'd be much better to watch anyway than listening to the BT and the Sky rubbish.
Exactly.
So it'd be a better experience, because it'll be about your club. It's going to be all your club. You have your ex-players doing a co-commentary and stuff like that, and it would make more sense. It's more enjoyable from a fan's point of view. I don't know why I don't understand why they've not done this for years, because Sky have got too much. I've had too much power.
Too much power.
And that's been the problem. Sky don't want that to happen, because Sky want to be in control of it, don't they? Sky want to move games to a Monday night for no reason.
Look at our game. Literally, we're going to have no fans. Arsenal v Liverpool, or Liverpool v Arsenal, at Anfield. No fans are going to be there, and we've got to play on a Monday bloody night.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, without fans, I don't suppose it's as important, is it? Because obviously, a Monday night games are a massive chew for fans. You've got to take time off work. You've got to try and get back home afterwards, late at night, and it's difficult to get trains and all that kind of stuff. So without fans, I guess it's probably not as much of a problem. But even so, football should be Saturday and Sunday, shouldn't it? That's it. There should be... you should have a midweek game if there's midweek games on a Wednesday or something, but not on a Monday night. Monday night's not a football night. Friday night's not a football night. No. You know what I mean? They've got to respect that. Even Thursday night, really. I know we got the Europa League. They should have Champions League Tuesday, Europa League Wednesday, or the other way around. Yeah. That's it. Don't spread them out. Don't spread Champions League games over 2 days. Just have Champions League one day, Europa League the other day. Then you haven't got to keep moving games to a Sunday in the league because you're not playing on a Thursday. You know what I mean? Just do that. That would be for me. I just like games to be. I'd prefer games to be Saturday and Tuesday. That's it every week, and that's where they should all be, and that's it really. But it'll never go back to that, will it? Now.
Well, yeah. Again, the Arsenal Misfit in the chat is saying all games have to be shown, because if not, the people will start to lose interest in the sport, and as people stop watching, the effect on the league itself, the TV revenue will go down instead of going where they want it to go.
And also, as well, I say, people end up just streaming it from foreign channels in other countries anyway. They'll just lose out the money that they could have got. So it'll be a ridiculous decision if they decide not to show them. It'll be a terrible decision, and hopefully, if they do that, they deserve all the sort of bad stuff that they get on the back of that decision, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly, and especially, I think that again, just before you wrap things up, I think it would. With what the Premier League have done today, with obviously, as we touched on earlier in the show, about them obviously cancelling their contract with the Chinese broadcasters, I think they're going to have to now do, as we said, go ahead and cover all these games. Even as I said, if the BBC step in and say we'll cover a few games of that as well, here and there, as and when we can.
Yeah,
things like that.
Prime is another one, aren't they? I say they're
Amazon Prime as well.
get some games on there. Netflix even maybe be able to show some games. Possibly, I don't know how that would work, but I don't think they need to get it sorted out because I don't think we can go into the season and not have any fans in the stadium to begin with, and not have certain games not being shown live on UK TV. I don't think they can. They can't do that. I don't think. So it needs to be sorted out, and they need to sort it out quickly because the season starts next week.
Oh God.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, Jesus Christ! It doesn't even. What's happened is that they've rushed it all, haven't they? They rushed going back last season. They've rushed the start of this season. They haven't really thought it through. There's been no pre-season. They got international break this week when it should be pre-season training. Really, clubs should be in pre-season training, having friendlies and that. I know we had a sort of a friendly the other night against QPR, wasn't it? But
QPR the other day. Yeah,
we should be having proper. Everyone should be having proper pre-season now. If they're going to start on the 12th of September, fine. That's a good enough time to start. But we should have had 3 weeks of pre-season training with friendlies and stuff. Not having an international break, just ridiculous. I mean, whoever thought of that is just an idiot. Honestly, it just doesn't make any sense, does it? Why play their games now? Play them once the season started. Don't have England games or international games rather in pre-season. It's more important for players to be at their club training and getting prepared for the season with their club, not to play some ridiculous waste of time.
Exactly, and also because obviously yours being pushed back. This UEFA Nations League thing should be scrapped for the year itself.
Yeah, of course it should. Yeah.
And the only international games that should have been played in the next couple of months or so, not this week, but in the next international break come the winter or whatever, is the ones that determine the remaining spots for Euro 2021 now.
The playoffs and all that kind of stuff.
Things like that. Not these meaningless games.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's a ridiculous decision, isn't it, to have international games now?
You watch what's happened.
They'll be injured.
That's what and it'll be our players as well.
Well, it'll be everybody's players probably, but we'll probably suffer the most, I expect. No doubt Granit Xhaka will get injured playing for Switzerland. And then,
now he's captain as well, yeah.
So we won't have him available for the first 2 months of the season because he's injured. But never will. And it's just, I mean, honestly, I can't believe that they've actually done that and they've gone through with it because it's just crazy. I'm surprised the players haven't turned around and said, what is this nonsense? You know what I mean? We need a pre-season, a proper pre-season, not a couple of days training with your national side, playing 2 games, and then coming back straight into the Premier League season. I mean, England are playing on the 8th of September, their last game it is, and then the Premier League starts on the 12th.
Well, 4 days.
Yeah, what sort of nonsense is that? You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But
is Denmark? Is it part of the? I don't know because I keep changing their mind every other fucking day. Is Denmark part of the list, one of the countries on that list? If so,
the quarantine list.
Quarantine list, yeah.
I don't think it is at the moment. Because Iceland is it, so we won't have to quarantine. But then I don't forget half of Arsenal's team will be all over the world, won't they? Playing in games. God knows what's going to happen with that. If they got a quarantine for 2 weeks, no one will have a team until the end of September.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be bonkers, isn't it? I mean, who thought of these ideas? Just absolute craziness. But anyway, it's what it is, isn't it? They're doing it now. So you watch what happened is right. They won't have to quarantine. I'll say, no, you don't have to quarantine because we tested you. Everyone else in the world has to quarantine, but not these footballers. They'll be all right. Yeah. They'll be able to travel all over the world and come back and crack on.
These footballers don't have to quarantine. These footballers that are getting the virus left, right, and centre all of a sudden. By the way, no, they don't have to quarantine. But you peasants, go home.
Yeah, go out of Spain and come back and have to have another 2 weeks off work, not earn any money. When we just had 6 months off work with earning no money. So brilliant.
No.
Great idea. Cheers.
Yeah, get the economy going. Get back home though.
Ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous, really, isn't it? But it's just it seems to get more ridiculous every day. But what can you?
Yeah, especially we've got a government that's don't know ahead from fucking first space, basically. And that's being polite.
Absolutely clueless. But I, to be honest, I don't think it's just them. I think whoever was running the country.
Obviously, but I'm just saying, it doesn't help.
Exactly the same. I just think that they just haven't got a clue what they're doing. Yeah. They're basing their policies on projected figures as opposed to actually real figures that they've got in front of them that anybody can look at. Base your policies on the figures that you've got in front of you, the trends that's been happening in terms of illnesses dropping so much, death dropping so much, all these kinds of stuff. Base your policies on that. Don't base them on the fact that we might get an increase in winter because people tend to get more ill in winter when it's cold and people stay indoors more. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just crazy, isn't it? But it is what it is, and there's nothing we can do about it other than just go along with what we've got to go along with. If we can't go to football, we can't go to football, can we? Because that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's all bonkers, isn't it? But at the end of the day, unfortunately, we just have to go along with it because we haven't got a choice. As far as I'm concerned, I would go to football tomorrow. I would go. I wouldn't have any fears about going to a full stadium. I'd go tomorrow. It wouldn't bother me, because at the end of the day, there's always been a risk of picking up a virus anywhere you go. So I wouldn't be particularly bothered about going to football with a full stadium. I'd go anyway. But if people don't want to go because they don't feel safe, don't go. People that want to go, feel they're all right to go, then let them go and be done with it, really. But anyway, it won't happen, will it? Because we're not allowed to take responsibility for our own actions. We've got to do like with 2-year-old kids. You can't go out. You can't play out today. You can't go to watch football because you're not allowed. Very naughty.
There's just probably back things up here. DWTT just dropped in and he's asked. He's saying with transfer periods, it won't be until late October when teams will be settled. Those teams will help with the squad that don't require any turnover or international players will benefit.
At the start of the season, the teams with the least international players are going to benefit at the start of the season because they could have had a proper, well, not a proper pre-season, but a better pre-season preparation. So I think they will. Some of them, maybe the promoted teams, some of the generally lower end Premier League teams might end up. That's a good point, actually. And he's right about the late October as well, because the transfer window's not going to shut till, is it the 3rd or 2nd of October, whatever it is. And by the time you get your new players in, they settle in. I mean, late October's even a bit early. You're probably not going to get them till Christmas really firing, are you? These new players settling in and adjusting. So we could find the first half of the season could be a quite strange set of results happen, maybe. And then after the second half of the season, you might see more regular results.
More consistency,
But we'll see what happens. It's going to be I think it's going to be a strange season all the way through, which is why I think we've got a chance of doing well. Because in a normal season, we maybe wouldn't be ready, perhaps, to really challenge yet, even if we sign a couple more players. But maybe with this season, with everything that's gone on, no one's properly prepared. Arteta seems as though he's a little bit more ahead of other people just because of how clever he is and what a good coach he is and how much he understands things a little bit better, maybe. So we may be a little bit better prepared and we can maybe go in and have a decent go at it this season. I say there could be a Leicester-type season this year for somebody just because of all the stuff that's gone on. And why can't it be us, Why can't it be? Let's hope it will.
Exactly. Sam's just saying now it's more about making people feel safer and looking like the government are bothered. It is like security at the airport. It's a bit pointless. They never stop those who know the weaknesses.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good point. Yeah.
And a healthy Martinelli will be welcomed in January. I would like to see that. Yeah.
Hopefully before January, but if it has to be January, then he's going to be like a new signing, isn't he? I suppose. Yeah, if he can be fit and get quickly back in the team, because what an impact he made the season just gone. So I'm sure we can do the same. Just hope the injury doesn't affect him too much. Like some players need 6 months to get over an injury when they start playing again, don't they? To really get back to where they were. So let's hope he can get back a lot quicker. Hopefully the injury wasn't I know it was a knee injury though, wasn't it? Which be the most tricky ones to come back from, as we've seen with people like Bellerin and Rob Holding and people like that. Have struggled to regain their form quickly after coming back. So let's hope he's a young lad. Hopefully he can recover quickly. But we'll see what happens with that. But I'm looking forward to seeing him play again. Anyway, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And lastly, before you wrap things up, what are your thoughts on Tavera, Bellerin, Socrates leaving? Do you think we invest those funds in new players, or as opposed to filling up Kroenke's pockets?
I mean, I don't think it's about filling Kroenke's pockets. I think it's going to be more about getting a club through this financial crisis that we're having. It's more about that, isn't it? And not just Arsenal. I think all clubs are the same. I think, Torreira, I think we should sell him, and Socrates, because they're not really playing much. Bellerin's slightly different. I would like us to keep Bellerin, but if we can get good money for him, maybe it's a good time to get rid of him. And then if it means we can then have a little bit more money to put towards a couple of new signings, then that would be great. But we've got to look at the players who are playing. The people that aren't playing very regularly in the team, we might as well sell them if we can. Torreira, to me, doesn't ever seem as though he's settled in London. I would definitely sell him. Socrates probably he's what, 30 odd now, isn't he? If we can get money in for him, 10 million or whatever, maybe get rid of him as well. And then I'd say I would keep Bellerin, but if we can get 35 million for him, if we could, when you think Chilwell just went for 50 million, if we can get 35 million for Bellerin, then I would be tempted to sell him, even though personally I would like to keep him because I still think he's got a lot to offer us. But we don't exactly have an abundance of right backs, really, do we? So in the first team squad at least. So, but anyway, if we can raise the money, I don't think it's going to go in Kroenke's pockets. It's more likely just to keep the club financially afloat, really, as much as anything, isn't it? Because of the situation that we're in. We've just obviously spent out for Gabriel as well. A couple more signings maybe coming in. We need to get some money back in, don't we? Somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because no season ticket sales, no match day ticket sales, the TV money is going to be less. There's loads of things, we didn't get in the Champions League. There's so many things that are causing problems financially that, I think Kroenke's going to have to dip his hand in his pocket just to keep us competitive. Yeah, exactly. So, that's unfortunately that's the situation we're in, isn't it? And I wouldn't necessarily blame Kroenke at this moment in time. I think there's more things going on that he's got no control over, nobody has, and unfortunately it's affecting all businesses, and unfortunately we're part of that as a football club as well, aren't we? So but anyway, I'll definitely sell Torreira and Sokrasi, so definitely without a second thought.
Yeah, definitely. So just before we go, where can people find you as well on your new channel and all that?
Yeah, I've got a new channel over and over again. Yeah, I've got a live show tonight actually, which is going on at 7 o'clock. I've got Tom Watt, of course, former EastEnders actor. He's wrote some books about Arsenal, massive Arsenal fan. Really looking forward to having a chat to him tonight. At 7 o'clock, that's going out live on my channel. I'll be posting links on Twitter and Facebook and stuff in the next couple of hours or so, building up towards that. And then obviously with the start of the new season coming up, I'm going to be doing some previews of the first sort of games and all that kind of stuff coming up over the next week or so. Looking ahead to all of that, and hopefully some new signings to announce as well. Some really good ones, hopefully, but we'll see what happens with that. I'm not holding my breath too much with all that. But yeah, it's over and over and over again on YouTube. So it's quite a new channel. If you want to nip over at 7 o'clock tonight to watch my live show, it'd be great. If you've got any questions, that's anyone watching who might be watching tonight. If you've got any questions for Tom Watt, please either nip over to the channel and stick them in the comments at the time, or maybe put them on Twitter when I post the links out, and I can add that into the show. I'll ask him questions if you've got anything particularly that you want to speak to him about. He's got a great knowledge of Arsenal. He's done some stuff for Arsenal TV on the website and all that kind of stuff. I think he used to work for doing some tours as well, didn't he? I think he might have done.
Yeah, I remember going to a few members' days about 10 odd years ago, and he used to every members' day do a Q&A thing, and he'll be obviously the one doing that, hosting it all.
Yeah. So he's obviously, he's got good inside knowledge of the club as well. So it'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to having a little chat to him tonight. Not only about that, but obviously about EastEnders as well, and he's holding that.
Make it come back and all that.
I don't know if he'll be coming back into it though. You never know. What he might do. I'll ask him if
stranger things have happened in that show.
Yeah, I mean, he was at a good time, wasn't he? The early days when he used to get massive views and stuff like that. It must have been amazing to have been part of that back then, really. I mean, it's a bit different now, but I used to watch it a lot then in them days when it was new. I haven't watched soaps for I know EastEnders not been on, but I've not watched soaps for ages now. Just lost interest, really. They're on too often, aren't they? They're on too many times. When it was like once a week or twice a week, it was worth. You got into it then, but now it's like they're on every day version, aren't they? You just don't get sick of it. So.
Yeah, it just ran down your throat, literally from all angles from 7 o'clock.
The same with football, I used to prefer it when football's on once or twice a week. I don't like it on every single night. It does me head in. But
it just drives you mad, and obviously, especially
I want a break from football, and now there's a game on tonight, and then you get loads of tweets about the game, and then you end up getting involved in it when you don't want to. It's like just give us a couple of nights off a week would be nice to do something else. But,
or you have players that we're linked with, and like our fan base goes into player watch on that player, and everyone's got to talk about it for the whole season.
What I like is the plane watch when they're tracking planes flying from Spain or France or something.
Or hack into the cameras.
What are you doing? These planes could be going anywhere to anybody. Anybody could be on them planes. People's going on holiday. Oh well, definitely. Thomas Partey on that plane. And you see him get on it. Did you see him actually get on the plane? Did you? And he might just be going on holiday somewhere. He's not signing for a football club.
Exactly.
But anyway, it makes me laugh at what goes on Twitter. With transfers and that. It's hilarious. It keeps me entertained for hours. I go through it just laughing, thinking that's just brilliant, man. And then people trying to guess what the clouds formation in the background when Gabriel was at a picture of him. It's like Well, is that an English cloud, or is that a Spanish cloud, or is that a French cloud? What cloud is it?
Or is that tree green enough in the background to be in England? And things like that. Oh my days.
Green tree. It must be in England because England's the only country that has green trees.
Oh dear.
But yeah. All that kind of stuff. It's just hilarious. Really makes me laugh. It keeps me entertained, even though it's completely pointless.
I literally I wake up and there's like playing. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay.
Yeah.
It's and then about half hour later they're hacking into the bloody cameras on the M25. That's his car going past towards London. Oh, come on. How do you know he's in the car?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know it's even his car. It's brilliant. Some of the stuff is just brilliant, and you look at it and you think it's just hilarious. But I suppose it's not just us, really. I suppose other teams' fans are the same.
Yeah.
Most people
fan base.
Most people I follow on Twitter obviously are Arsenal fans, so we tend to get that more. But I'm guessing other fans, Man United fans, are probably worse. Actually, probably.
Yeah, probably, especially when Donny arrived. Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they'll be tracking his plane. They don't need to now because he's signed, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's signed yesterday.
You don't need to worry about once they've signed. It's only when they haven't quite signed yet that you're getting a bit of a, is he coming over? Is he on the plane?
Well, at least he can fly. Like, he hasn't inherited that habit from his father-in-law, or possible father-in-law, in Dennis. Because obviously, he could be coming back. That's another show I can do, Dennis. But that goes through.
Well, if that gets announced, that's going to be amazing.
That's going to be huge news for the club.
I just think that because now, obviously, Arteta's appointed some new coaching staff, didn't he, last week?
A few people, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a feeling if we were going to get Dennis Bergkamp, it would have been then. The new coaches have come in now. I mean, it would be great if that happened. But now I think that ship's maybe sailed with the new coaching staff that we've got him.
Yeah, the coaching staff he's brought in is a new goalkeeping coach, was it set piece coach, and I can't remember the other one. But yeah, I think if they wanted to, in normal circumstances, they wanted to. They could create a role where Bergkamp could come in some
maybe. If they can, it'd be great, wouldn't it? Let's face it. Who wouldn't want Dennis Bergkamp back at the club doing something in terms of coaching? I mean, he's going to have a lot to offer, wouldn't he? You know what I mean? What a fantastic player. I mean, I know his coaching career has been just getting started, really. So we'll see. I'd love to have him back. It'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Yeah, just seeing him back at Arsenal again. You know, and I'm sure even in training, I still bet he'd be better than most of the players that we've got.
Oh, definitely. And again, because of what he achieved at Arsenal as well as a player, what an inspiration to the young players coming through as well, and senior players. Because when he came to us, he didn't come to us with the best of form in the sense of, because obviously Inter Milan never really played him, this, that, and the other. Yeah. And obviously he went on to that career that he had with Arsenal and loved by the fans. So,
I mean, he was what a fantastic player. He's probably the greatest player we've ever had, probably in history. I mean, maybe in the 1930s when we were winning everything, maybe, I don't know, but certainly in modern times, I think he's been technically the best player that we've had. I know Thierry Henry probably runs him close for what Thierry Henry achieved, but just what Bergkamp could do was just there's not a player like him ever. I've never seen a player like him. No. Just his technical ability was just incredible. His vision. I mean, that goal he scored at Newcastle that time was just, no other player could do that.
No,
in history, I don't think.
Especially when he said the ball was too heavy, it was going the opposite way.
He had to think of it so quickly, didn't he? Because he had to readjust and do it that quick. It was just, I mean, I don't think any other player in history could have done that. No. And it's not like that's a one-off, because he used to do things like that to that level, but he used to do things like that all the time, didn't he? In games, he was just an unbelievable player.
I remember that taking off away from Arsenal for a second, the '98 World Cup, that ball from, I think, De Boer at the halfway line. I pinned it and back.
Well, he brought that down.
Silk touch and just went.
Yeah, and that was a great goal. Yeah, but that's just that's what he could do. That's how brilliant he was.
How good he was.
Just an unbelievable player, really. I don't think he's ever really got the credit he deserved. You know.
No.
You know, when people talk about the greatest players to play in the Premier League, he barely gets a mention a lot of the time. It's almost overlooked by Henry, which you can understand, because Henry scored all the goals that he scored, and he was fantastic as well. But you know, people like obviously Ronaldo, and you know, but a lot of the players, even Zola probably gets more of a mention than Bergkamp. And yet Bergkamp I think he was better than all of them.
Yeah,
but he's so underrated. not given enough credit for how good he was in the Premier League for those years as well.
People like Ashley Cole don't help things when they do combine the Arsenal-Chelsea 11, drop Bergkamp out for Drogba.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. I say he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He doesn't. No. He never has done. And even at the time he played, I didn't really think he did. I know he got Player of the Year that year when we won the double, but I never really thought he got
the recognition he deserved.
Yeah, when you look at how other players are perceived in the media, in particular, and from other fans, that are nowhere near what Bergkamp was. And he just, I don't know, they never seemed to appreciate him. Maybe because he was a little bit too intelligent for most of the media to understand. They didn't understand how good he was because he was on a different level to what they could understand, I think.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's just frustrating for me because he's literally, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest player I've ever seen live, definitely. You know, without a doubt, for Arsenal, certainly, probably anywhere. I mean, I did see Maradona play against England once in the early 1980s in a friendly, I think it might have been, but he didn't play particularly well that day, and England won.
Yeah. So. And yeah, with that, I'm going to wrap things up. Thanks, Richard, for coming on at short notice as well.
Yeah, no problem.
As I said earlier, actually, just mentioned about a few minutes ago, he's got his own channel over and over and over again. He's doing a live stream tonight. Go and check that out. I will be. And yeah, do subscribe to him. And also with myself, you can find me on, obviously, here, the Mr. Arsenal Podcast YouTube channel and Facebook page. And on Twitter at Mr. Arsenal 89. And yeah, until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, up the Arsenal.
Come on, you guys.